Welcome into the non-neutral zone. It's all about football with Brandon, Josh, and producer Gunner.
Welcome back, my friends. Happy Tuesday. We are back. Your two favorite fellas, Josh, and I'm Brandon. What's up, Josh?
Hey, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. We are the non-neutral zone. We are a two-man band again this week, and we are excited to talk some ball with you as we are approaching the season. Are you excited, Josh?
I'm over the moon about it.
Dude,
I really am. It's
man.
super exciting. It's been so long.
Oh, we need it so bad.
Yeah, we've kind of had sports, but if it's not football, it's just not the same.
Yeah, so a lot of excitement, and I think that there's a slow buildup of energy that's kind of happening that you can feel across the country, as like maybe hokey as that sounds, but you can feel that sense of excitement happening. And so we're here to talk about it. We are the Non-Neutral Zone. We want to remind you that you can find us on Twitter at Non-Neutral Zone 1. We'd love for you to follow us there. And if you would hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcasting app, we'd be thrilled and honored for you to subscribe and rate and review. And with all that said, let's get to it.
That just happened.
All right, that did just happen. Let's talk about some news, Josh, as we head into it.
Alex Smith. I'm sure you saw the news on him.
Yes.
Activated the PUP for the Washington football team on Sunday.
Yeah, did you see the video?
The video with his family?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. It was really cool.
Oh man, dude, what a great story. I don't know if anything will come of his ability to play in the NFL again, but I'm pulling for that guy.
Man, they said he's in a full-on competition for the starting gig if he's healthy, and they activated him. So I don't know why they activate him if they're not planning on giving him an opportunity to take that job back.
No, I agree. I think he has the opportunity. I mean, we just remember how gruesome it was, how gruesome his leg looked afterwards, and so that's
it's really, to me, it's a testament of how far medical science has come since the Theismann injury.
Yep. That's the big story in it, really. And his grit and determination to get back on the field and get an opportunity.
Perseverance, man, because he could have curled up and said, well, I'm not playing football again. I mean, he could have died.
Yeah.
Like reading all the details, and then the ESPN special that Stephania Bell did, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Just kind of seeing like the fight in that guy.
Yeah.
And you don't really think about that from a guy that was the first overall pick. You think about that from a guy that's fought his way onto a roster. Like as far as like having the grit and determination, feels like some guys, they're just born with the talent and they've never really had to fight for anything. And Alex Smith just kind of bucked the trend, said, I'm a fighter. So
yeah,
pretty cool.
It's a great story. So you know what, I'm pulling for that entire Redskins organization this year. Just with all the junk that they've got going on with their mascot, with the report coming out about the unstable environment and Daniel Snyder's constant mess ups over the past 20 years. You just pull for the underdog, man.
They're trying to force him to sell, right?
I think so. But who knows if he will, but just in general, you want to see them kind of rise up and be something. They got a good young core there.
Yeah. And I think they are going the right direction with the culture.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've had issues in the past with how they handled some of their domestic violence stuff, and I feel like they handled it a lot better. I don't know if you saw we talked about how we hadn't seen any details on that incident with Darius Geis, but, there's a count of strangulation on there. You don't really see that very often. And apparently he choked her until she passed out.
Oh, wow.
And then he was when she woke up, she said he was next to her, tapping her, crying. He was afraid that he killed her. So, pretty intense situation.
Unstable.
Yeah.
Onward with the news we go. Tavon Austin is getting another opportunity, this time with the 49ers. Anything to it?
I think it's a fun signing, especially with Debo potentially missing.
He kind of fits that
weeks.
Same kind of player. I mean, he's 10 years older.
Maybe it says something about Brandon Ayuk maybe not being ready in the offense because they brought Tavon in. They play a similar role. Obviously, Tavon's not built the same as Debo or as Brandon Ayuk, but they play that same kind of role. They can flex into the backfield or play in the slot.
Well, and Tavon's a cheap veteran that can kind of teach these young guys how to be a professional. Not that not that they're babies or need help or anything, but he's been in the league a while. He's been a professional, and he's been undersized his entire career and had to work for everything really that he's gotten, and so he can kind of demonstrate what it's like to go to work every day.
Yeah.
And so I imagine he's a good culture guy in the locker room.
Man, what a bust though. He was
He was electric at West Virginia.
Yeah.
Was it West Virginia?
I believe so.
Yeah,
he kind of fits that mold. So, first round pick though, and then nothing. So,
yeah. All right. So we got our tight ends have been locked up, man. We had a lot of tight end money going out this last week.
Oh yeah.
49ers and Chiefs locked up George Kittle and Kelsey over the next 4 and 5 years. Kittle 5 years, $75 million. Kelsey 4 years, $57 million. What do you think?
That's age.
Yeah.
That's age. Yeah. I mean, Kittle's what is he? 26 or 27?
Approaching
26?
his prime. Yeah.
Yeah, he's smack dab in the middle. He's great. He's pivotal to what they do there in San Fran. Kelsey, a little bit older, but obviously they think he's got some tread left on the tires. Big deal there for him as well. And it's all it is age, because I think Kelsey still is the most dominant tight end in football currently.
Yeah.
But Kittle's going to be able to do it for longer, barring injury or just a different wear and tear on his body.
Well, yeah, and George Kittle is vital to what San Francisco does. So you couldn't put Kelsey you couldn't drop him into the San Francisco offense and have the same production. So Kittle is a special tight end in that regard. So I'm glad to see guys get paid and kind of reset the tight end market, because I
think they've got the same style. They're after the catch guys. They'll make catches in traffic. I think they're similar. I think you could swap either one and be fine. It's just about age to me is all it is.
Yeah. So good for them. I really and I like the signing for both teams. Those are critical parts of their offenses,
and I've heard a lot of people don't really understand how the salary cap works and how you can move money around. But the Chiefs come into the offseason with like 120 something bucks on the cap. Like that's what they had to spend, and they moved a little bit of money around, and then really it's the way they're working their future cap, structuring these deals where bonus signings and all that stuff are happening at different times that are more convenient for the team. So people feel like they're cheating, but they're just being smart about their money.
Yeah, I feel like they're cheating. So let's talk a little bit more about the Chiefs. We touched on this last week, the week before, but Damian Williams has went on to CNN. He's set the record straight on why he's opting out of the NFL season. To update, his mom has stage 4 cancer, and he was scared to expose her and simply wanted to take the opportunity to spend more time with her. Do you feel bad about talking bad about Damian Williams, Josh?
In terms of his ability on the football field, no.
Oh, and questioning his heart and why he was opting out.
Oh, that was actually you, sir.
Okay, well, I was asking if you felt bad. So I feel a little bit bad. I just was kind of.
I thought that you may be onto something. I believe was what I said. Like maybe you're onto something there, but I did not put those accusations onto Mr. DW.
Yeah, so I'll retract. I understand, like in this regard, like as someone whose mom like went through cancer, and as it gets further along in that journey, like you just want to spend time together, and like that there's a finite amount of time, and so even if he's not able to come back to football, like he's definitely not going to get this time back with his mom. So
absolutely
respect to a son who would walk away from a really,
it's a great situation on the team.
A really good situation on a Super Bowl winning team to do that. So that's I'll shout out him. That's a good man there.
Yeah, and regardless as to why he opted out, I hate to tell anybody else what to do with their time, or like if they don't feel like they should be playing for whatever reason, then that's their business. It's none of mine. But yeah, hate it for his mom, hate it for him as far as that goes, but good on him for wanting to do what he thinks is right, regardless of what everybody on the outside world thinks, because he caught some heat from the media and from fans as far as if they thought it was because of that 32nd pick.
Yeah. I agree. And so one more piece of news. This is the most serious that we have. But did you see that picture of the new running back in Green Bay's legs?
I did, Mr. A.J. Dillon.
Yeah. Did you, Mr. Chicken Leg?
Chicken leg?
No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. I don't think it was Chicken Leg.
He looked like a monster.
He looks like he's been working out a little bit.
Yeah. And did you see the other piece where the GM compared him to Eddie Lacy? Like that's what they kind of see with him.
Uh-oh.
But we forget, like we remember Cheeseburger Eddie toward the end of his career when he was fat, but man, he was good. He was really good before he just like cared more about his lack of diet than he did the game. If he can play like Eddie Lacy,
yeah, he's gonna be. I mean, you look at him; he looks the part. So, I mean, they drafted him, and if you weren't already concerned about Aaron Jones as you are, this guy's coming to eat because rookies.
That guy looks like a guy that's he's gonna score some goal line touches. I mean,
yeah.
At the very least, I mean, he's gonna be looking at some first down opportunities on 3rd and short. He's gonna be looking at touchdown opportunities. And if Aaron Jones was to get nicked up,
yeah, I mean we see it all the time, man, with young guys coming in with fresher legs, and
that guy's it's fresher legs. That guy's got some legs that can seriously kick the door down. Like he's ready.
Yeah. Well, they ran the brakes off of him at Boston College, but
yeah, well, that's all they did. Like that guy faced more 8-man boxes than anybody else in college football because what they throw the ball like 15 times a game. Like their number one wide receiver was targeted like 30 something times. Like it was ridiculous.
So well, that's that does it for the news this week. So you want to do a little free balling, Josh?
Yeah. Let's let them loose.
Free balling.
All right. What we're gonna do this week for our free balling segment is we are gonna get to some of our favorite double-digit round picks. Now these can be lottery tickets, so some guys with high upsides. They could be handcuffs. They could be guys that just aren't super sexy, but they're very safe. And I think that kind of sums up what and they're currently their ADP has them in the double-digit rounds. So these are guys you're going to get later in the draft. We're helping you find some value deep in the bargain bin.
Digging deep, elbow deep down in that little bin full of goodies.
Yeah. Do you like going to those bin stores, Josh, where you got to dig and find all the deals?
Not so much these days. Back in the day, like producer Gunner and I, we would both we would dig through some stuff, and resell on Amazon or eBay or whatever it was, and it was a good time, But I'm too old to be bumping elbows with all these people, and
it's stressing me out, man. Like I just get stressed out in those stores, and
and I'm not big on it anymore. I mean, the only way I'm doing it is if somebody's called me and said, "Hey, they got this over here," like they got a bunch of them, go get you one. Then I'm going to go in there with the intent of that one thing that I'm going to look for. I'm not going in and rummaging and just hoping to score. I'm going in with an intent, just like any other store that I go into. We're walking to where we're supposed to be. We're getting it. We're going to the register. We're getting out.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So, all right, well, let's head to the bargain bin. We're not going to dig for any of these guys because, lucky for you, listener, we've already found them.
That's right.
So at the
we just called you and told you it's there. Go get it. You get to walk in, grab it, and get out.
All right, Josh, tell me, who do they need to get at the running back position?
I had a few guys, but I'm going to go with Chase Edmonds of Arizona. He had a couple of really big games last year. He's going at the 1202. So, I mean, when you get there, there's not a lot at the running back position that's guaranteed. And Chase Edmonds not guaranteed by any means.
Mm-hmm. So you're just basing it on
there's really no guarantee in that backfield.
I don't disagree. So what's the are you basing it though just off of that one game? Are you not concerned with the running back that they just drafted?
Benjamin is a good running back, but I think that there is a lot of competition there. And I think when I say there's no guarantees in the backfield, I think it's just going to be split, man. I think everybody's going to have a job. Everybody's going to get some run, and somebody, it may be a hot hand situation where maybe somebody takes the game over. And Chase Edmonds is a guy that can do that. So if you've got him on just look at it this way. Say you drafted great at running back and you never have to play him. At least he's on your bench and he's not on one of these suckers that didn't take running backs early playing against you. And then he blows up, you weren't expecting it, and you feel like you got robbed of a win that week because they just hit the lottery.
Fair point, yeah. I don't dislike Chase Edmonds, and we saw he was electric in the limited opportunities he had before his minor injury. So if you get, especially if something happens to Kenyon Drake, if you get stock in that offense that's going to get reps, I mean that could be a big time play.
I think all those guys are great too. Just to set the record straight, I like Kenyon Drake. I don't like his ADP. I do like Eno Benjamin, but I mean you can grab him off the waiver wire. He's not even getting drafted. Chase Edmonds he just so happens to be going in the 12th round, and I think he's a great value there. I mean, they didn't really give Kenyon Drake a contract. They just picked up his option. So if they come out and they give the ball to Chase Edmonds, 10 to 15 times in game one, and they give the ball 10 to 15 times to Kenyon Drake, and it's a 50-50 split, that's a good situation to be in that offense, I believe.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. Well, for me, I've got one in the 13th round, the bottom of the 13th round currently, Boston Scott from Philadelphia Eagles. I'm a Boston Scott guy. I've mentioned on the podcast if you have listened in the last several times. I love mentioning Boston Scott because it typically gets an eye roll from you, Josh. But
No. I want to be clear. The only reason that I roll my eyes on Boston Scott is in the thought that he will hurt Miles Sanders at all. Boston Scott was great last year when he had to come in and he was forced into duty. He was a great back. I don't think he's built to be an every down back, and he will have a role. But it's just not shying me away from Miles Sanders at all.
Okay, so I'm with you on that. Miles Sanders is clearly the guy. But last year in limited opportunities, like in his, they gave him the run against New York, and that I know it's the last game of the season and everyone's kind of checked out. But he ran into stacked boxes and went in for 3 touchdowns in the last game. So like when given the opportunity, like he put up points, and if he gets to play the Giants every week, he scored 19 points and 32 points against them last year in his 2 games. So he gets 2 games against the Giants. And what we haven't seen is Miles Sanders for an entire season. So, he was in a timeshare. Miles Sanders was in a timeshare last year with Jordan Howard for the bulk of the season, and we saw him take over in the back half of the season. But for the most part, or for most of the season, he was in a timeshare, and Jordan Howard's gone. So who's going to fill that role? It's Mr. Boston Scott. And like what you said with Kenyon Drake, if something happens to him, if Kenyon Drake comes down, or if Miles Sanders goes down, Boston Scott's the guy in an offense that's going to get the running back involved out of the backfield. So I'm a big Boston Scott fan, especially like when you're looking, we're talking about deep dives. When you look like basically the 14th round, so he's almost free.
Oh yeah, absolutely, he's almost free. And like I said, the only thing that I ever have against him is what I just said there. And the only reason that I'm so staunch on that is because when Boston Scott was playing great those last few weeks of the season, Miles Sanders was RB4, even when he was having those great runs. So I mean,
yep. So there's room for both of them, yeah.
Yeah. And Miles Sanders he's gonna be the one that you absolutely want if you have the opportunity to draft him, but everybody's not going to have the opportunity to draft Miles Sanders. Everybody's going to have 14 opportunities to draft Boston Scott. So it's a good pick.
Yeah, that's fair point. All right, so at wide receiver, I've got Allen Lazard, the alien lizard. And the reason that I've got the alien lizard is in Green Bay, we've criticized their draft on great lengths, and we talked about last week, I believe, how we feel like Aaron Rodgers is going to be on a revenge tour of sorts. I mean, he's going to be checking out of passes. He's going to be throwing the ball, and there's no one else in Green Bay to throw the ball to. No one else.
I like Jay Sternberger.
Yeah, so Jay Sternberger, but he's gonna fill in where Jimmy Graham's gone. So Jimmy Graham had he had goodness gracious his target share last year. So Jay Sternberger's obviously going to take some of those. So 20% of the target share was vacated from last year. So Jimmy Graham and Geronimo Allison had 20%. They're gone, and so it's likely that Jay Sternberger is going to take some of that, and Devin Funchess would take some of it. But Devin Funchess isn't going to have fun with us. He gone. So, the Alien Lizard beat out the other guys in that offense last year, and it's the same guys that are back. So he's ahead of Equinius, St. Brown, whatever. And then who's the other guy that we always draft and he always sucks?
MSV.
Yeah, Marquez Scantling Valdez.
Yeah,
whatever.
MVS, I said MSV.
Whatever. But so we've seen him there. Now, the Alien Lizard isn't going to wow you with his speed. So he's not a fast guy. He ran a 4.55, but he's huge, and he really compares to your big receivers like Golladay, Mike Evans, like those guys. But he even though he's not fast, he's a big dude, 230, that he was able to have I think it's the 26th most separation on his targets, which is pretty good for not a fast guy. But to kind of on the flip side of that, he was 93rd in most average cushion. So that was the amount that they would press him. And so he's not able to be pressed. And so he's always going to be open, basically, playing with Aaron Rodgers. So
it's weird that they wouldn't press a guy that doesn't have elite speed.
Yeah, I don't know why they
I mean, if it's me, I'm going to pop him in the mouth every single time. You know what I mean? You're going to have to earn it because we know you're not going to beat us deep.
Yeah. So I think that that's the deal. I don't know why they would have
strange game plan.
Yeah. So, but anyways, he's going to get the targets. So, I mean, all those vacated targets have to go somewhere. Devontae Adams can only get so many, and I think that Aaron Rodgers is in for a big season. So I love
the main thing. You almost hit it on the head there. The main reason that you should draft Allen Lazard where he's going. Where did you say he's going?
He's going. I mean, look, I have all my guys that are mixed up here. I'm working with too many. I'm lost. Go ahead. Tell me the main thing.
Well, the main thing is the reason you should take him is because Aaron Rodgers has come out. He's advocated for the guy to get more work last year. He likes him. They've worked in the offseason. Aaron Rodgers likes him. Aaron Rodgers is the guy throwing the ball.
Yeah.
That's why he'll get those targets.
He's going at 12.04.
12.04. So, yeah, he's a bargain.
All right, so who do you have a wide receiver?
He's not as big of a bargain as Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell's going at the 14.04. I mean, he's basically he's almost undrafted. It's you taking him or you taking your defense first? That's the question.
Right.
And so, and I think it'll rise a little bit because the hype videos have started to roll out. He's looking great in training camp. Phillip Rivers is actually looking really good. If they've got the connection that it looks like they have in camp, Paris Campbell's going to get some targets. And I said early in the offseason, I think we're going to see Paris Campbell get lined up out of the backfield, out of the slot, all over the place. And he's potentially going to be a return guy because he is electric with the ball in his hands. So
this is his third season, right?
No, he was a rookie last year.
Okay, so I couldn't remember.
Because we went to the draft last year and we saw him get drafted.
That's right. That's right. So we were super. I couldn't remember how it felt, but I remember when he came out, and that's what I was going to say is that just we were all high on him, and I feel like he just couldn't get going.
He got bit by the injury bug.
Yeah,
and so the injury bug bit him, and now he's healthy. Do yourself a favor and just go watch some of those videos and him in camp right now because man, he looks electric, and he's turning around. The timing's there between him and Phillip Rivers. When I say he's turning around, I mean the ball is there when he turns and his hands are on it. It's just the chemistry is there already. It seems like.
What you're looking for in the 14th round are potential lottery tickets.
Hey, buddy, and
sorry, go ahead.
I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
I was just going to say what you're looking for in the 14th round is potential lottery tickets, and he has that potential to elevate his game and win you a week just by himself because I think I should say he has the tools to. We'll see if he's going to produce like that, but he has the physical tools of a guy that can win you a week and can stack up some ridiculous amounts of points based on his ability to win in space.
Well, he was a second-round pick, and the Colts felt like they stole him there. Like he should have been a first-rounder. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't remember his 40 time, but it was
fast,
pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, get your hands on Paris Campbell. Same as Boston Scott. You're going to have 14 opportunities to do so. Get him on your roster.
Yeah. All right.
If he doesn't pop, just drop him.
That's it. That's it. So you're not going to be patient with him? You're going to drop him at the first?
No. I mean, when I say if he doesn't pop, like obviously you hold him as long as you can, but
yeah,
I mean, like last year in our league of record, I had injuries at the wide receiver position like crazy. I had to drop guys that I didn't necessarily want to drop, just to fill a roster and try to get back into that thing. So if that happens and he's not popped, then drop him.
Move on, yeah. So who do you have at tight end, Josh?
Well, I'd love to say Mike Gesicki, but I talk about him every single week, and he's at the 10:01, so I felt like that was a little bit cheap. And I think he'll rise a little bit and get into that 9th round before we get, into full swing draft week, here in a couple weeks. So I'm going to go with TJ Hawkinson. He's going at the 11:07. I wrote about him earlier this offseason as far as him being a sleeper guy that breakout candidate, I think is what the article was. Yeah. He was a first-round draft pick. He played at Iowa with Noah Fant. People love Noah Fant. You have to remember, TJ Hawkinson put Noah Fant on the bench for a lot of plays at Iowa because he was so good. He's an inline tight end, so he doesn't come off the field. And then let's look at the Detroit Lions offense. We've got Kenny Golladay on one side, Marvin Jones on the other. Well, who's going to play in the middle? Geronimo Allison? Oh, wait, he opted out. So there's nobody there. There's nobody there. Open. So that third option, I believe, will be TJ Hawkinson. I mean, it could very well be that they start getting DeAndre Swift a lot of reps as a receiver because he is a good receiver out of the backfield. But that's not going to be his primary role. I feel like the Lions want their running backs to run the ball between the tackles. We saw that with Kerryon Johnson the last 2 years. It's been extremely frustrating to watch because I feel like he is a good athlete. But he's been hamstrung by his coaching staff. They're old school, and they'll be looking for jobs next year anyway. But, like as far as TJ Hawkinson goes, he's going to have to catch the ball. And he's a big red zone target for Matthew Stafford, who I'm extremely excited about this year. So
is Amendola still in Detroit?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I didn't know if he'd retired yet. I mean, he's like 100.
I will research that while you go ahead and give us your pick.
Well, I've got Dallas Goddard as my late round, as my double-digit round tight end, and he, the main thing is opportunity. So, last season, Philadelphia didn't have anybody to throw it to. That's one of the things. That's why Zach Ertz was such a really a safe pick because he was going to get reps. And Goddard, for whatever, I mean, he injured his calf early in the preseason to miss week 2, and then he didn't play more than 75% of snaps until week 8. So he had a late start of the season, but starting in week 9, so the back half of the season, he played in 79% of snaps and in 75% of the games, so 6 of 8 games. But he had 120 target pace in the back half of the season. So that would have put him on in line for tight end 8 in half PPR leagues. So like when you're talking about someone that has, it's the difference between 5 and 8 isn't a lot of points. So someone that has
not at the tight end position.
Yeah, top 5 tight end potential, and you can get him in the 13th round. My goodness gracious. And that's without even and actually 12th round, I'm sorry. But that's without something happening to Zach Ertz. So if something were to happen to Zach Ertz, he's already got value, and his value just skyrockets up. And you have one of the easily top 5 tight ends situations there. So, I mean, they still don't have anything to throw it to. Alshon Jeffrey isn't going to play. I mean, he's not going to play well. Deshaun Jackson, who knows what's going to happen with him. And then, Marquise Goodwin, they signed him, so he's opting out. And, so you have your rookies. They drafted 2 or 3 rookie wide receivers. And I think Jalen Rager's got a super high ceiling, but he's a rookie. He's a rookie wide receiver. So
He's got stuff to learn. Yeah.
right, we don't know what he's going to do. So I love the value that Dallas Goddard provides. And again, he's got standalone value. But if something were to happen to Zach Ertz, I mean,
I think it's more about Alshon Jeffrey, man. If Alshon's on the field, we've seen it. Carson Wentz targets the heck out of that guy. Whether you think he's good or not, Carson Wentz likes him. And I think that's the role that hurts Goddard. If Alshon's healthy and on the field, I think there was a correlation. I'd have to go back and look, but I think there's a correlation between when Alshon left and when Goddard really picked up steam. They kind of play the same role as a possession-type player, big in the red zone. I think that's the difference. I think Ertz and Goddard are going to be. We saw on the field together last year, and they were both successful. I think that they can coexist. I think that it's Alshon. If Alshon has trouble, Goddard's going to be a top 7 tight end.
Yeah, but he has Alshon has no timetable off his Lisfranc surgery, and he's old. So he's
absolutely.
Not gonna,
I'm not saying Alshon's going to be back. I'm saying if he is back, that dampers the Goddard for me.
Yeah. So, but again, like you're drafting him in the 12th round as your tight end. If he doesn't work, go sign Blake Jarwin. I could have talked about Blake Jarwin this week, but saved you guys. Love me some Jarwin, but I think that I think Dallas Goddard has a higher ceiling.
He absolutely does have a higher ceiling.
All right,
he was a first or second round pick. He was actually drafted to be somebody, not just. So yeah, I'm good with that pick. I like him. I actually had him on my list and went with Hawkinson to avoid the double up there, just for the audience, to have more content.
Yeah, sweet. Well, let's head to the wild card round, Josh. I don't know how wild you're going to get. So let's at any position. So you could include quarterback in this if you want. I know we didn't really include quarterbacks because if you've listened to our show, you know that we advocate waiting to draft a quarterback until the double-digit rounds, anyways. So or to being patient in drafting a quarterback, I should say. So
there's many good late-round quarterbacks. There's no reason to bore you with that.
Go with who you believe in. So who's your wild card that you like and that you're finding on your roster more often than not in your mock drafts?
I just recently kind of had my opinion altered. It's not that my opinion wasn't already high, but my opinion for year one for Henry Ruggs has really improved.
Oh.
There's been some news come out, that the Raiders are planning on using him in the slot. That came out about a week and a half ago. And if they use Henry Ruggs in the slot with his speed, man, sky's the limit. He could be a big deal this year. And I think that going at the 1207, he's worth a shot, especially if, you drafted pretty safe at wide receiver. He could be that little octane booster that you throw in your flex there.
I think I love Henry Ruggs, especially as a late round guy with high upside because you can't teach speed, man. So,
oh yeah.
And as a rookie, and we've talked about this on the pod, but as a rookie wide receiver, there's a lot to learn, but if you can run fast,
they'll find a way to use you.
You can learn how to run by the defense. So,
especially if you're matching up with a slot corner.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So I love that. Where's he currently going?
1207.
Yeah. I like that a lot. So interesting that you have him because my wild card is from the same team. And I've got Hunter Renfrow, who's going basically free. And that I don't detract from Henry Ruggs' value. Like, I love Henry Ruggs. I think that Renfrow is a volume guy, and so they kind of play different roles.
The only issue is, though,
they play both slot. I know.
Where's Renfrow going to be?
I know. So that's the rub. But there's enough. Like, Renfrow is he's a slot guy. So he's just a target monster. And over the he. In 13 games last year over the season, he missed 3 games, but he averaged double-digit fantasy points. So as a rookie, as a slow white rookie wide receiver that doesn't score touchdowns, he averaged double-digit fantasy points. He only had 4 touchdowns last year. So he doesn't need touchdowns to be a solid, safe play week to week. And so that's why I like him in the late rounds as a safe guy, because he's going to continue to get targets. He doesn't need athleticism. He just gets open. I mean,
I just think if you're a coach, though, so if you're a coach and you drafted Brian Edwards and you drafted Henry Ruggs, you paid Tyrell Williams to come in, are you going to put the athletes that you've drafted high to come in on the field, or are you going to put in Hunter Renfrow that looks like an accountant?
He was one of Gruden's guys in his first draft, man. So he's a coach's guy because he's a pro's pro. I mean, in terms of doing it, I think
for the record, Danny Amendola. Speaking of slot receivers, he's still in. He's still in the line. Still with the line.
I mean, so I don't know. He didn't really factor in. I just would like
5'11", 185. He's not pulling any red zone targets away from Hawkinson. But.
Yeah, I think that in not Oakland, in Las Vegas, it's weird. The new guys. So Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, Lynn Bowden. Those guys are going to get opportunity. Tyrell Williams. They paid him. He got his opportunity, but I feel pretty certain that they recognize the error of their ways in the way that they paid him, and I don't see them running real hard or doing anything like trying to pursue that. They'll get what they get out of him, but I think he's getting.
I mean, he's being paid. They're going to have him on the field in that X position because he is the veteran in that locker room.
As long as he can stay healthy, but but he's not a factor. I mean, he's being drafted. I don't know where he's being drafted. He's
I don't even look at him.
Yeah, like he's not even.
But we have to look at the real football side of it to get to the fantasy side. Like we have to put the whole thing into the equation, and it's hard to get targets when when they've drafted these guys super high. They're super high on Edwards. They're super high on Henry Ruggs, and they're going to get those guys the ball to prove a point this year. And it's not that I hate Renfrow. I think he's good. He was good in college.
Just steady.
Man, but I just think he's going to have trouble getting on the field.
Maybe so. But if he doesn't, then drop him and move on, right?
I think he could have went with CeeDee Lamb at 10-10, honestly.
Well, I mean, but I'm talking – these are deep bin dives. I think CeeDee Lamb – and you probably agree with this. I think he probably creeps up into the single-digit rounds, and so it's
it's tough because people love Michael Gallup and some people love Amari Cooper, but they're saying they're going to play CeeDee Lamb in all three positions. So, I mean,
and he's a smart receiver. Like he'll be able to plug right in and do it.
I think they're just going to split that vote where CeeDee Lamb does stay in the 10th round. You know what I mean?
That's good value then. I honestly like the value on all three of Dallas's wide receivers. I like Amari. It's kind of weird because all three of them can't pan out at their value. So I don't know which one's going to be wrong. I like all three of them at their value, but
I don't know. What are you expecting out of a guy at the end of the 10th? Like, what are you like value wise? I mean, if he ends up being a wide receiver 4, you can plug in, hope for a touchdown. I mean, I think that's.
Yeah, so I mean, he meets his value. It's not hard for a 10th rounder to meet their value. And
I think both of those other guys can do the same. Just because, I mean, at least Blake Jarwin off on the sidelines watching.
But like in the 15th round, Blake Jarwin.
Yeah. I mean, he pays back on his value.
Right. So
I think everybody's being drafted accordingly. If CeeDee Lamb does get into the 7th or 8th round, I'm not taking him.
I don't want him.
I don't want a rookie wide receiver in the 7th round. But
yeah, I agree. So that wraps up. I was I didn't know what your wild card, what was coming on that. So I really like your Henry Ruggs pick there, Josh.
Yeah, I thought you would. I know you really liked him coming out of Alabama, and I mean a lot of people did. My only problem with Henry Ruggs was him going over CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy. I thought both of those guys were more complete wide receivers, and.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. In real football terms, like the draft, that they probably should have gone higher. But who knows what? I don't know what goes on behind closed doors of the conversations they have, and we know that the Raiders love speed. So,
well, man, let's get you out of here. You look like you're burning up over there.
I've been sweat. I've been just like grinding, man. Just crushed. I've enjoyed hanging out with you and talking some shop, man.
Yeah, same here. Listeners, this week we're going to have a special second episode drop. Miss Rosalie Michaels is going to be on with us from DraftKings. So be sure to stay tuned, catch that, make sure you're subscribed so you know when she's on. She's kind of a big deal, especially for small timers like us. So we're excited. We're excited to have her on. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen. Check us out on Twitter at non-neutralzone1. You can drop us a line at non-neutralzone@gmail.com. Josh, this is Brandon. We're going to get this guy out of here so he can get some AC on that forehead.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe wherever you listen and don't fall into the neutral zone.